Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. I'm Charles Kuralt, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. With the start of new U.S.-Soviet arms talks only 4 days away, today's announcement in Norway came as a bit of a shock. Norway revealed that a Soviet cruise missile capable of carrying a nuclear warhead flew over Norway and Finland one day last week. U.S. officials tonight are asking, was it purely an accident, or was it some kind of message from Moscow? State Department correspondent Bill McLaughlin has our report.
United States intelligence officials today confirmed that last Friday the Soviet Union committed a potentially dangerous violation of Norwegian and Finnish airspace. The Soviet Navy was holding military exercises in the Barents Sea, according to Norwegian military sources, when a tactical cruise missile was launched from a Soviet submarine. The missile, which resembles the American Tomahawk cruise, was tracked by Norwegian radar as it flew on a trajectory over northern Norway, and then entered Finland, where the Norwegians believe it crashed in or near Lake Inari on the Finnish-Soviet border. Earlier today, before U.S. confirmation of the incident, President Reagan was asked if the Soviets were sending the U.S. a message in advance of the Geneva talks.
I wouldn't know, because they say we don't have any verification yet.
Although the missile is thought to have crashed in Finland, officials in that strictly neutral country would only confirm that a flying object had penetrated their airspace. And late today, U.S. officials said they thought the missile had not carried a nuclear warhead and that it had strayed off course while on target practice. Bill McLaughlin, CBS News, the State Department.
President Reagan met today in Los Angeles with Japan's Prime Minister. They talked about what Prime Minister Nakasone calls his biggest headache, the gross imbalance in U.S.-Japanese trade, our trade deficit, their trade surplus. It's an issue American officials are finding increasingly painful, too. We have reports from White House correspondent Bill Plant and from Wyatt Andrews in Tokyo.
Japanese Prime Minister Nakasone launched a preemptive strike in his meeting with President Reagan, telling the president he is keenly aware of U.S. frustration over trade problems and determined to solve them. But when asked what arguments he would use to get the Japanese to buy more American goods, Mr. Reagan sounded conciliatory.
We don't argue, we're good friends.
The president and the prime minister have talked about this before, but officials still complain the Japanese have been very slow to open up their markets. The president, however, has left it to others in the administration to deliver a far more blunt public message to the Japanese. More trade, or we may not be able to stop protectionist legislation.
The communists are getting pretty fed up. A lot of people in this country are getting fed up, and I think we would like to see the action move faster.
Following what officials described as a frank discussion of the problem, the president delivered a direct but diplomatic warning, and the prime minister indicated once again that he had gotten the message.
We both recognize, I believe, that failure to overcome these obstacles in trade will complicate our ability to fulfill the vision of international partnership between Japan and the United States that we both share.
Japan will promote economic policies that will enhance growth led by domestic private demand and will make further market opening efforts.
U.S. officials were surprised and encouraged by the Japanese offer to cooperate. Said one, Nakasone came here with our agenda. Nobody forced anybody to back down. He added that the U.S. expects to see results in the next few months. Bill Plant, CBS News, with the president in Los Angeles.
It's one of the great truths about America's trade problem with Japan. Their number one product for us is cars. Our number one product for them is food. It's a built-in imbalance when they sell us Sonys while we sell them soybeans. The problem for America is that the imbalance will reach $35 billion for 1984 at a time when most American businessmen believe Japan finally wants to reduce the deficit.
I think they have the message that the growing imbalance with the United States is going to cause a problem in the United States, and they must do something about it.
Under pressure from the United States, Japan has agreed to limit its sales of steel. Restrictions on automobile imports continued. Later this year, tariffs on American cigarettes will be cut in half, and the Japanese telephone monopoly, just like AT&T, will be broken up. That will open up the first chance for Americans to sell satellites here.
So I think Japanese market will become very open and very free to sell equipment.
But with all of the progress, Japan, by world standards, is not a free trade nation. One persistent American complaint is that Japan talks about free trade, prides itself on all the progress going on, and then continues to protect the smokestack, depressed industries that would be hurt if Japan allowed equal American competition. The wood products industry is just the latest example. As long as Americans sold logs or inexpensive newsprint to Japan, that was fine. But when the Americans got better at making the expensive forest products, wood veneers for cabinets and superior plywood, Japan turned its entire wood products industry into a large cartel and kept its bankrupt companies in business. At the very least, one trade official said, you'd think they'd let us sell them the cardboard they wrap all those video recorders in. Still, there is another great truth about trade with Japan, and this one will never be negotiated. They make quality products, we buy them.
The Japanese have had an uncanny knack for developing products which the United States consumer wants to buy.
And that, trade negotiators say, will make the deficit with Japan even larger this year. It is the most important economic relationship in the world, $80 billion worth, but they sell us electronics and we sell them peanuts. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Tokyo.
I can't find it.
I'll be home at 10. 9.
Come away to a new High Point and relax. High Point coffee helps smooth out the rough edges, smooth in relaxation, gently washing away not only caffeine, but also bitterness that can interrupt your coffee pleasure. Relaxing moments don't last forever.
Mom, I missed the bus.
New High Point smooths out rough edges, smooths in relaxation.
Like your rice checks, huh? Good, because to get 100% of a day's worth of 9 vitamins and iron, you'll have to eat 4 bowls of rice checks.
Or 1 bowl of whole wheat total.
You'll have to eat 4 bowls of Raisin Bran.
Or 1 bowl of Total.
Because Total has 4 times their vitamin nutrition. 100% of a day's worth of 9 vitamins and iron. That's 1 bowl, 100%. But if you're still not eating Total, hope you're hungry.
The wreckage of an Eastern Airlines Boeing 727 was found this evening on the side of a mountain in the Bolivian Andes. 8 of the 29 people aboard were Americans, including Marion Davis, the wife of the U.S. ambassador to Paraguay. There were no survivors, apparently. Eastern Flight 980 took off last night from Asunción, Paraguay, heading northwest for La Paz in Bolivia, en route to Miami. 11 minutes before his scheduled landing in La Paz, the pilot radioed the airport and was cleared to lower altitude. That was the last contact with Flight 980. Searchers were out in force today on the ground and in planes and helicopters, and late today they found the wreckage of the eastern plane on the side of a towering peak near La Paz. The La Paz airport, at an altitude of 12,000 feet, is the highest major airport in the world, and planes approaching it must fly the last 20 minutes close to the mountaintops. On this second day of January, it wouldn't mean much for the weather people to talk about the worst storm of the year, but they're talking about the worst storm of the season. And Ned Potter reports that means misery in parts of the Midwest and Southwest.
This was the day for the world to get back to work, but a lot of people weren't getting where they wanted. Dallas got only 2 inches of snow, but southern states aren't used to getting any. San Antonio police closed all the city's highways and got calls on 500 auto accidents. Across Michigan, frozen rain pulled down enough power lines to leave 250,000 customers without electricity.
There was no heat, no lights, and I've got 4 kids.
Repair teams worked around the clock, but power companies said some people might be frozen out of their homes until the weekend.
We'll get one area put up, and a limb will come down on a wire, and we'll lose it again. So it's sort of a continuous battle right now.
Chicagoans, pelted with up to a foot of snow on New Year's Eve, found themselves stumbling on ice in single-digit temperatures. The Arctic air froze places that came close to 70 degrees last week. Now people slip and slide and wait for it all to melt. Ned Potter, CBS News, Chicago.
Here's denture wearer Danny Thomas.
Now, I love a good cigar, but I hate the darn tobacco stains it leaves on my dentures. So I use Smoker's Polident. This baby's the only cleanser specially made for the job. Look, we'll take half this tobacco-stained denture. Now watch Super Strength Smoker's Polident power away that stain and let the clean shine through. See? Like my pal Martha Ray says, Super Strength Smoker's Polident gets tough tobacco stains super clean.
Here's the secret, folks, of where to win the biggest sweepstakes prize of all time.
American family, join us!
Tim Blakely and Rebecca Wright won millions of dollars. Now you can win $10 million, only from American Family. No other sweepstakes with a prize this big. I will personally award this giant cash fortune. Be sure to enter the sweepstakes with my picture.
Join us!
Millions and millions of dollars, all for you.
A man who allegedly took the law into his own hands agreed today to take his chances with the legal system in New York. Bernhard Goetz, who is being called the subway vigilante, waived extradition from New Hampshire after earlier saying he was afraid to return to New York. He said, "I feel like a sitting pigeon." The 37-year-old Goetz walked into a police station in Concord, New Hampshire Monday and reportedly confessed to shooting 4 teenagers on a subway last month. Today, prosecutors said Goetz indicated his actions were premeditated and not self-defense. And a Concord attorney, hired by Goetz's New York neighbors, said Goetz felt justified in doing what he did.
Figures he doesn't need representation, that the justice system will take care of him.
He wants to defend himself?
He doesn't want to do anything except get it over with.
New York detectives are expected to pick up Goetz tomorrow and bring him back to New York City. 2 women were arrested today in connection with the wave of abortion clinic bombings in Pensacola, Florida. One of them is Kathy Simmons, the wife of one of the 2 men already charged in the 4 bombings. The other is Kay Wiggins, fiancé of the 2nd man already charged. Federal agents say one suspect told them the abortion clinic attacks were carried out on orders from God. As was the case with many other waves of new immigrants, a majority of the more than 100,000 Cubans who arrived in the United States in the Mariel boat lift of 1980 were just looking for a better life. But as was the case with many other waves of new immigrants, some of them were looking for a place to continue a life of crime. While the fight over whether to send at least some of these undesirable immigrants back to Cuba is being played out in the courts, some of their violent crimes are being played out on the nation's streets. Rita Braver reports.
This is a dark-skinned Hispanic male, heavy build, about 6 foot tall, mustache.
In Union City, New Jersey, a vicious attack. The victim is a Mariel refugee, twice arrested for drug dealing, and police suspect this fight too may have been over drugs. But no one is talking.
Don't move, please. Try not to move.
Man, it would beat him on the chest with a bat. Local law enforcement officials here and all over the country, from New York to Wisconsin to California, say that 4 years after the Cuban boat lift, they're still trying to cope with a huge crime problem, one that will not be solved by the new agreement to send 2,700 undesirables back to Cuba.
As far as I'm concerned, it's simply tokenism.
Harrisburg police detective Richard Alvarez, himself of Cuban descent, was alarmed by the statistics in his city, where only 500 Mariels live.
125 Mariel Cubans have been arrested for all varieties of crime. Of those 125, they've committed 481 crimes.
But the federal government has no real tracking system for Mariel crime, so Alvarez set up his own, collecting information and sharing it with other police departments.
I had Garden City, Kansas call me. Who ever heard of Garden City, Kansas? They've got problems. Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Tucson, El Paso, Las Vegas.
You are innocent. We don't even do nothing.
In Las Vegas, for example, police say Mariels now control a third of the street cocaine traffic and commit a quarter of the murders. Police say the special Mariel tattoos seem to be worn as emblems of a violent lifestyle.
Big tattoo of the Madonna on his back.
And in Miami, hardest hit of all, there is trouble in the streets and in the courtrooms.
Our courts are clogged because Castro's criminals have been here since 1980 and are now repeating criminal acts. I think that the federal government owes it to the people again throughout the country, not only here in South Florida, to track and follow these criminals.
There has long been disagreement over the extent of Mariel crime. The federal government estimates only a few of the 125,000 aliens are hardened criminals, but some state estimates put the number from 25,000 to 40,000. And now police around the country are seeing the emergence of Cuban crime networks.
They're highly organized now, and they deal in the crimes of murder, murder for hire, murder for contract, and export, importation of marijuana, cocaine, and other drugs.
Local officials want a stronger federal effort against Mariel crime, the way there is against other ethnic crime organizations. And they say they need more help in identifying repeat offenders.
Here's an example. The man I'm showing you here, he's presently awaiting sentencing for a shooting. This man's a Mariel. This man has 15 aliases. I still don't know today who this man really is. Pretty much the federal government said, okay, boys, here they are, now they're yours.
And police say it will be their problem for a long time to come.
You copy that description, Sergeant?
That's affirmative, I got it. I'm going out now.
Rita Braver, CBS News, Union City, New Jersey.
When my arthritis kicks up, there's no beating deep heating.
Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. Penetrating relief to soothe minor arthritis pain for hours.
When my hands are stiff and sore, there's no beating deep heating.
Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. Penetrating relief to ease the stiffness of minor arthritis pain for hours. Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub or lotion.
There's no beating deep heating.
SEC basketball is coming your way.
Hi, I'm Wimp Sanderson, basketball coach at the University of Alabama. Inviting you to follow all the exciting teams on Southeastern Conference basketball, the most powerful league in the country.
The Crimson Tide of Alabama tackles with the Bulldogs of Georgia this Saturday afternoon at 3 from the friends you can turn to for Southeastern Conference basketball, Channel 5.
In a trial in Poland, there was more testimony today that the murder of pro-Solidarity priest Jerzy Papajusko last October had the advance approval of top Polish government officials. Another of the 4 secret police officers on trial said he was told a deputy interior minister was aware of the murder plans. The officer testified today he was told he would not be prosecuted if he killed the priest. The trial of retired U.S. Army General William Westmoreland's $120 million libel suit against CBS resumes tomorrow in New York after a 2-week holiday recess. The former Vietnam commander claims he was libeled by a 1982 CBS News documentary that charged the U.S. military intentionally underestimated the strength of its enemy in Vietnam. The trial began almost 3 months ago. It has already produced more than 6,000 pages of testimony. But meaningful revelations about the war itself are proving elusive, as we hear in this report by Eric Engberg.
Vietnam left a trail of memories and questions for Americans to agonize over. Was it right to be there? Right to leave? But anyone looking to the case of William Westmoreland versus CBS for answers will come away disappointed. The courtroom battle has not turned into a broad-gauged inquiry into the war. Instead, it has focused narrowly on the subject of the disputed documentary, how the U.S. military officially counted its communist enemy. Judge Pierre Lavelle from the start stressed to the jury that as far as the war is concerned, the issue is whether there was an attempt on General Westmoreland's part to conceal and suppress the figures on the enemy's strength. Broad questions on the conduct of the war, such as whether the Tet Offensive was a surprise, are off limits for this trial. Even when former Defense Secretary Robert McNamara broke his long silence on the war, his testimony was carefully limited and offered nothing to illuminate the major issues of the war. Speaking for Westmoreland, a string of high-ranking officers has testified there was no faking of numbers, no wrongdoing. Westmoreland took the stand to say changes he ordered in bookkeeping methods were done for accuracy. CBS says it wasn't a good faith move and plans to bring out its own string of former officers to testify the books were cooked.
Excuse us, please.
The libel laws make it tough for a public figure like Westmoreland to win in court. He must show not only that what CBS said was false, but that the network knew it was false or had serious doubts about its accuracy. So what lawyers call the state of mind of the documentary's producer George Cryle and other CBS employees is an important part of the trial. Questioned by Westmoreland's lawyer, Cryle has tried to justify why he didn't use more Westmoreland supporters on the air, has denied inventing any charges. But in this area, as with the war, Judge Lavelle has put limits on what questions can be raised. He ruled that CBS's own report on the making of the documentary was largely irrelevant, even though that report cited flaws in editorial balance. Lavelle swept the question of fairness out of the courtroom, declaring, "A publisher who honestly believes in the truth of his accusations and can point to a non-reckless basis for his beliefs is under no obligation under the libel law to treat the subject of his accusations fairly or even-handedly." So, the realities of the courtroom have prevented this case from offering the deep assessments of the war and of journalistic ethics many people expected. Nevertheless, the stakes remain high enough, the issues large enough, for Westmoreland versus CBS to retain its claim to being the libel case of the generation. Eric Engberg, CBS News, New York.
A letter from the director of the Federal Office of Personnel Management, Donald Devine, cites disturbing growth in the number of full-time career government workers. Devine has directed all federal agencies to hire, whenever possible, temporary government employees. Workers who, unlike career civil service workers, can be dismissed at will and who do not receive health benefits and the other benefits of permanent federal employment. Leaders of unions representing government workers called it a short-sighted solution, an attempt to run the government like a ma and pa shop. And one member of Congress said, "A lot of us wish the first one to sign up for temporary employment would be Mr. Devine." Several names are being mentioned today as possible replacements for William Clark, who is stepping down as Secretary of the Interior. All of them are from the West, and all of them share the pro-development views that made James Watt so controversial. Clark took the job when Watt resigned. In leaving his post, Clark said he has accomplished his task, though some inside and outside the agency say Clark left some important unfinished business, including the formulation of a new 5-year plan for offshore oil leasing that has to be submitted by February.
If you see one mouse, you've probably got a lot more. Mice always live in groups, and they breed like crazy. But you can get rid of your mice problem with Decon Mouseproof. Mouseproof is better than traps. A trap kills only one mouse at a time, but Decon Mouseproof can kill mice by the dozen. Mouseproof bait is clean and easy to use, yet so effective it's America's #1 mouse killer. Decon Mouseproof, the way to get rid of your mice problem.
Miss Jane Russell.
What makes a full-figured woman shine? An 18-hour figure. 18-hour bras and girdles from Playtex turn your full figure into a fabulous 18-hour figure. The unique 18-hour fabric stretches all over for really comfortable support, very comfortable control. It's a wonderful feeling, a wonderful look. Get Playtex 18-hour bras and girdles and turn your full figure into a fabulous 18-hour figure. Why wait?
Not one of these remedies has the strongest ingredient for gas pains and pressure. Gas X does. For fast relief, get Gas X with the strongest, fastest gas reliever you can buy. Gas X.
Ta-da! X-Lax. The family friend. I almost forgot. Good thing I didn't.
Families trust chocolated X-Lax. It's easy to take and works so gently overnight.
A good friend to have when you need it.
Gentle chocolated X-Lax.
Make it your family friend.
Humankind's eye on the universe is about to get powerful new eyeglasses. Researchers at Caltech say they will construct in Hawaii the world's largest optical telescope, and they will build it with the world's largest private foundation grant for a science project, said to be about $70 million. What can you do with the world's largest optical telescope? Strike a match, and using this telescope, you could see it burning from the surface of the moon. Stu Middleman has been trying for nearly a week to do something I couldn't do. Really, you couldn't do it either. The question was, could Stu Middleman do it? Here is Bob McNamara with the answer.
Lorna Ritchie, Clarence Ritchie.
It was back last Thursday. 6 days ago, they started the race.
Look at Stu Middleman, number 1.
It was 24 runners and fast walkers on the University of Colorado's indoor track, all trying to go as far and as fast as they could for 6 days and nights. Some going on little sleep and lots of pizza.
That's great. The only thing that keeps you alive, believe me. Congratulations, Stu Middleman. 500 miles for Stu Middleman.
More than anyone's, the race was Middleman's. The 33-year-old New Yorker doing 500 miles after 5 days and trying to become the first American to do 600 miles in 6 days. But fatigue was jeopardizing a record run.
I get very discouraged because it seems that I've been working so hard, and the time is slipping away, and I don't have enough time to do what I want.
It is now day 6 in the Rocky Mountain 6-day race.
Though popular overseas, the few 6-day events there are in this country are still treated like invitations to sit on a hotbed of coals and watch them. And while only a few could tune out the bone-weary boredom of circling the same track for almost a week, it was the blisters that burned the toes red raw, stress-fractured ankles wrapped in ice-filled socks, and hamstring pulls that were some of the prices paid to run this race.
I just want to see what I could get out of my body.
9, 8. Stu Middleman today wouldn't get the 600 miles he'd wanted out of his body, but he won easily and just 22 miles short of his goal. Now all he wanted was a Florida vacation, while Lorna Ritchie and lots of others waited for a visit from a Boulder foot doctor. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Boulder, Colorado.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Wednesday. I'm Charles Kuralt in New York. Good night.
Some of the roughest roads aren't in the mountains. They're in big cities, perhaps even your city. So we asked Brad McCabe to drive this Ford Ranger over some of the meanest streets this city can dish out. But this stock Ranger is built tough, with twin I-beam front suspension to handle those cavernous potholes, bone-jarring bumps, and repair sections. And there's a new fuel-injected 4-cylinder engine, or V6 power, unbeaten by any small V6 pickup. Nice driving, Brad.
We work well together. My Ford Ranger and me.
The best-built American trucks are built Ford tough.
If you use antacids that don't seem to work well enough for you, or fast enough for you, maybe they're not strong enough for you. But today, there's double-strength Mylanta 2, the antacid that concentrates nearly twice the medication for nearly twice the acid-neutralizing power of any leading brand. So when you need an antacid, try one that's strong enough for you. Double-strength Mylanta 2, concentrated with nearly twice the antacid medicine. Now in 5-ounce liquid and tablets.
When was the last time you took a look? When was the last time you cooked your old friend cream of wheat? Remember the mornings you woke up to a light, smooth taste that let the flavor shine through. It's as good as you remember cream of wheat. Traditional or instant mix and eat cream of wheat cereal and lots of delicious flavors. It's as good as you remember cream of wheat. Nabisco.
Tomorrow, why America isn't taking a tough stand in trade talks with Japan, and meet actress Sissy Spacek. Wake up to what's happening on the CBS Morning News. This is CBS.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News, the MARTA program takes area motorists by surprise today, while Metro Police say they've cracked an area burglary ring. And would you believe snow is on the way? Details coming up next.
From WTVF, Nashville, this is Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
There may be snow on the ground tomorrow. Hello, I'm Ruth Ann Leach.
And I'm Chris